إن الله وملائكته يصلون على النبي يا أيها الذين آمنوا صلوا عليه وسلموا تسليما.
السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.
لقد جاءكم رسول من أنفسكم عزيز عليه ما عنتم حريص عليكم بالمؤمنين رؤوف رحيم. فإن تولوا فقل حسبي الله لا إله إلا هو عليه توكلت وهو رب العرش العظيم.
الله أكبر 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 الله أكبر. ما تعالت أصوات الناس بالتكبير. الله أكبر ما تفتحت أبواب السماء في هذا الصباح الكبير. الله أكبر ما تنزلت علينا رحمة الإله العلي القدير. الله أكبر ما تقاربت قلوب المسلمين في هذا اليوم المنير. الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر. لا إله إلا الله والله أكبر. الله أكبر ولله الحمد. الحمد لله الذي أمد أولياءه بالتوفيق وألهمهم بكلمة الحق والتصديق وأرشدهم إلى أوضح محجة وطريق وجعلهم برحمته خير أمة وفريق. أحمده على النعمة التي بها هبانا وأشكره على الملة التي بها هدانا وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدًا عبده ورسوله. اللهم صل وسلم على عبدك ورسولك محمد وعلى آله وأصحابه وسلم تسليما كثيرا. أيها الإخوة والأخوات الأحباء، أوصيكم ونفسي أولا بتقوى الله. اتقوا الله ما استطعتم واسمعوا وأطيعوا وأنفقوا خيرا لأنفسكم ومن يوق شح نفسه فأولئك هم المفلحون. فقد قال الله تعالى في القرآن المجيد: ظهر الفساد في البر والبحر بما كسبت أيدي الناس ليذيقهم بعد الذي عملوا لعلهم يرجعون. صدق الله العلي العظيم. Respected elders, beloved brothers and sisters, we gather here at this Id-ul-Fitr service today to bid farewell to the blessed and beautiful month of Ramadan. Al-Wida' Al-Wida' ya Shahru Ramadan. Al-Wida' الوداع يا شهر القرآن. الوداع الوداع يا شهر الرحمة. We bid you farewell, O month of Ramadan, O month of the Quran, O month of compassion and mercy. By the grace of Allah, the ever merciful and all compassionate, our spiritual and moral resources have been replenished by the great blessings of fasting. We make dua and we pray that Allah accept our siyam, our fasting, that Allah accepts our qiyam, our prayer, that Allah accepts our supplications, our dua, that Allah accepts our sadaqah, our acts of charity, and that Allah accepts all of our amalus salihat, all of our good deeds, seeking Allah's pleasure. Allahumma ameen, Allahumma ameen, Allahumma ameen. On Id-ul-Fitr, we celebrate our spiritual achievements and accomplishments of the past Ramadan. And we look forward to meeting the challenges of the new year with renewed hope and determination. In particular, during the past Ramadan, we have had some wonderful initiatives here at the Claremont Masjid that we hope will inspire us to transform our lives and our interpersonal relationships with others. For example, our wellness program, it inspired us to embrace healthy lifestyles. Our post-Tarawih talks created an awareness of environmental justice, people living with disabilities, and the myriad struggles of refugees in our country. Our children's programs provided ways for us to foster a child-friendly masjid ethos. And our Youth Day weekend reflections and discussions once again underscored the value of intergenerational dialogue. Most of all, it gave us renewed hope for a generation of youth who are socially conscious, courageous, not afraid to speak truth to power, and who aspire to live in a world free from social injustice, economic inequality, and political expediency. We share these aspirations with our youth, and therefore it behoves us to identify and critically reflect on the challenges we have to overcome in order to realize a more just and equitable society. Hence, in this Id-ul-Fitr Khutbah, I would like to identify some of the critical challenges facing our country at this captious juncture in our history, and provide some modest guidelines for conscientious Muslims and responsible South African citizens to engage the socio-political, economic and moral crises unfolding at the present time. My hope is to inspire all of us to become active participants in the struggle for social justice, and especially to affirm the full dignity of the poor and the marginalized in our country. This is precisely the kind of consciousness that fasting in Ramadan is supposed to engender, and is indeed what this great day of Id-ul-Fitr symbolizes. In this regard, it is instructive to note that the Prophet Muhammad, may Allah's everlasting peace and blessings be upon him, envisioned the day of Id-ul-Fitr to be a day of recommitting ourselves to strive towards a more just and compassionate society, free of hunger and poverty. And so he proclaimed, عن عبد الله بن عمر قال فرض رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم زكاة الفطر وقال أغنوهم في هذا اليوم. وفي رواية للبيهقي أغنوهم عن التوافي هذا اليوم. Liberate the poor and the marginalized on this day of Id-ul-Fitr by freeing them from making tawaf, that is going around in search of sustenance and dignity. This hadith was reported by Al-Bayhaqi and Ad-Daraqutni. Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar walillahi alhamd. Beloved brothers and sisters, I would like to start my reflections with the challenge of state capture and corruption. Since former public protector Tuli Madonsela published a report entitled State of Capture in October 2016, the issue has dominated public debate in South Africa. Following the release of the Public Protector's report, we have seen sustained protests and unprecedented calls from civil society, from trade unions, and even from within the South African cabinet for President Jacob Zuma to resign because of the alleged corrupt relationship that he has with the Gupta family. During the past Ramadan, new incriminatory revelations exposing the bizarre and corrupt relationship between President Zuma, his son Dudu Zani, influential members of the African National Congress, and the Gupta family has come to the fore. In my considered view, the scourge of corruption is not a new South African crisis, but it is an affliction that has troubled conscientious social justice activists for a very long time now. Why then has it become such a vexed issue that is mobilizing such widespread and legitimate outrage within our society at this time? And most intriguingly, why is the widespread and endemic crisis of corruption in South Africa currently being reduced to so-called state capture? I believe that a number of factors have coalesced, they have come together to produce the current crisis of corruption. Notwithstanding, it is not a coincidence that the quandary of state capture has reached these mammoth proportions during the year in which the ruling African National Congress is convening its National Consultative Conference to elect a new party president. In light of this, I would like to call on social justice activists to be vigilant about not allowing our noble struggle to be hijacked by factions within the ANC who would like to advance their own political agendas at the ANC's National Elective Conference in December 2017. Simply put, getting rid of President Jacob Zuma and replacing him with Cyril Ramaphosa, Nkosazana Dlamini Zuma, or any other high-ranking ANC leader is not the magic wand and solution for our country's deeply perilous situation. It is palpable that our country's corruption dilemma is much more than President Zuma, the Guptas, and state capture. In fact, it would be naive of us to think that we are simply faced with a political crisis of leadership, when it is obvious that the situation goes much, much deeper. In terms of the economy, South Africa is also experiencing a major economic crisis, as our Gini coefficient, that is the measure of the gap between rich and poor, confirms that we are the most unequal society in the world. It is even more disconcerting to realize that over and above the political and economic crisis, our distressing situation also points to the moral and spiritual bankruptcy of our society, when the value placed on human life and on women and children's lives in particular has been eroded. How else can we explain the wanton killing and brutal raping of girl children and women? Credible statistics indicate that in South Africa, a woman is killed by an intimate partner every 8 hours, making our country's femicide rate 5 times higher than the global average. The wide range and acute crisis of corruption we are faced with is aptly depicted in the glorious Quran in verse 41 of chapter 30, Surah Al-Rum, where Allah, the Lord of compassionate justice, proclaims, ظَهَرَ الْفَسَادُ فِي الْبَرِّ وَالْبَحْرِ. Corruption is flourishing in the land and the sea, بِمَا كَسَبَتْ أَيْدِي النَّاسِ, as a consequence of people's deeds. لِيُذِيقَهُمْ بَعْدَ الَّذِي عَمِلُوا. Allah makes them taste and suffer some of the consequences of their vile actions, لَعَلَّهُمْ يَرْجِعُونَ, so that perhaps they may turn back from their course of corruption. From the above verse of the Quran, we learn that corruption is not merely a material challenge facing the political economy of South Africa, but it is also a spiritual, a moral, and a social concern. How then should we, as conscientious Muslims and responsible South African citizens, respond to this grave crisis of corruption in all of its forms? Beloved brothers and sisters, it is always edifying to examine the life of our beloved Prophet Muhammad. May Allah's everlasting peace and blessings be upon him, who was an excellent example of an active citizen and a principled leader. Throughout his life, he assumed the dual responsibility of being a spiritual leader and guide, as well as a social justice activist. In a hadith, a prophetic tradition recorded in the collection of Mishkatul Masabih of Imam at-Tabrizi, the Prophet ﷺ counseled as follows: "Kama takunu yuwalla alaykum." Your leadership will be a reflection of you, the people. This critical message of this hadith is substantiated by the glorious Quran in Surah Al-An'am, chapter 6, ayah verse 129, in which Allah, the Lord of wisdom, proclaims, وَكَذَلِكَ نُوَلِّي بَعْدَ الظَّالِمِينَ بَعْضًا بِمَا كَانُوا يَكْسِبُونَ. During the course of history, we let some zalimun, some who are corrupt and unjust, to rule over others on account of what they, the people, have earned for themselves. Classical Muslim scholars, they clearly understood this message of the Islamic guiding principle on governance and leadership. And so the renowned classical Muslim scholar Ibn Qayyim al-Jawziyah, who died in the year 1350, echoed this message with great clarity when he affirmed, and I quote, "People will get the leaders that they deserve," unquote. Beloved brothers and sisters, this is the same critical lesson that we need to learn from our past 23 years of living in a post-apartheid democratic South Africa. If we want a strong and robust democracy, then each of us needs to become active citizens who hold government and those in leadership positions accountable for their moral and political mandates. In doing so, I offer the following modest advice resulting from my own experience in social justice struggles and from my deep reflection on the question of the relationship between civil society and the state. Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar wa lillahi alhamd. First, during the current wave of social justice activism, it is important to remind ourselves, and especially those who have heeded the call for President Zuma to resign, that the critical motor of social change does not lie in the support of any political party, politician, or candidate president, but rather in a robust, independent, and well-organized civil society that holds those in power accountable for their political and moral mandates. Even more importantly, we need a paradigm shift, a shift in thought and in action. We desperately need to rid ourselves of the ill-founded obsession that our entire fate rests with the state. While we need a just, compassionate, and caring state, such a state can only be genuinely realized if we build and we nurture a just, a compassionate, and a caring society. We therefore need to reallocate our energies and resources towards grassroots empowerment and make this our priority rather than exclusively focusing on liberating our current state from capture by certain powerful interest groups. Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar walillahi alhamd. Second, we should use the current wave of activism to spawn a resilient mass movement of people who are dedicated to transforming the political economy as well as the social fabric of our society. This socio-political change should move us from a culture of covetousness, self-entitlement and greed to that of selflessness, altruism and compassion. In order to achieve this goal, we need to collectively work towards exposing and mitigating the devastating consequences of the neoliberal and capitalist economic policies being pursued by our government. As such, we should be critical of those who have joined the bandwagon for Zuma to resign only because their capitalist self-interests are under threat. In this regard, it is important to call out the selective outrage of some South Africans and liberal activists. And here I would like to echo the sobering and inspirational words of Wits University student activist Fasiha Hassan, who said the following in a pre-Khutbah lecture in this masjid on Friday the 16th of June 2017, and I quote, "There is outrage at Zuma must fall. There is outrage at Nkandla and state capture. But where was the outrage when 43 miners were assassinated and massacred in Marikana? Where was the outrage when masses of people did not receive their grants and had to face the fact that they would not be able to put food on the table? Where was the outrage when it comes to issues of land distribution? Why are we only outraged when it is only our economy and money that is at stake? Because we have become so consumed with lining our pockets, not just the state, but as a society as a whole, that we have become so self-interested." Unquote. It is not only ANC politicians and members who bear responsibility for the current state of affairs in our country. Big business, captains of industry are also culpable of perpetuating a capitalist economic system that thrives on and maintains economic inequalities, and it spawns among all of us a culture of greed, materialism, and avariceness. We will only be able to root out all forms of corruption, including that of state capture, if we work to combat corruption at the systemic level. Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar walillahi alhamd. Third, as civil society, we need to acknowledge that our own lethargy, our own cynicism and lack of action have rendered all of us complicit in enabling the corruption that is rampant in our beloved country. Therefore, it is my considered view that while we recognize the power agendas of competing ANC factions and other political parties, we should also seek strategic alliances with protest movements that call out corruption, including those who have called for President Jacob Zuma to step down. In this regard, I would like to suggest that the Claremont Main Road Masjid participate in the National Convention of Civil Society Organizations proposed by the South African Council of Churches and other civil society formations. This consultative convention of the people will include a broad base of South Africans who will plan the way towards a just, equitable, reconciled, peaceful and corruption-free South Africa. The Claremont Main Road Masjid should support the call by the South African Council of Churches, including its resolutions during the past Ramadan at its 2017 triennial conference in Benoni. The South African Council of Churches called on its members to withdraw its support, its moral support from the government. The South African Council of Churches conference also resolved to call for the dissolution of Parliament and for fresh national elections to be held in order to secure a new mandate based on acceptable values and integrity. However, the Claremont Main Road Masjid's end goal should not be limited to the election of a new government. We should continue the struggle beyond a new government for economic and social justice for all. And therefore, we should also support the struggle for service delivery and land distribution. We must resist the gentrification of our neighborhoods. We must protect our farmland from urban development. And we must support the fight for free, quality, and decolonized education. It is only through our continued support of all of these struggles that we can truly claim to live up to the aspirations of our youth and live in a world free from social injustices, economic inequality, and political expediency. بارك الله لي ولكم في القرآن العظيم ونفعني وإياكم بما فيه من الآيات والذكر الحكيم وتقبل مني ومنكم تلاوته إنه هو السميع العليم. أقول قولي هذا وأستغفر الله العظيم لي ولكم ولسائر المسلمين والمسلمات والمؤمنين والمؤمنات فاستغفروه فيا فوز المستغفرين ويا نجاة التائبين. الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر ولله الحمد. الله أكبر 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 ولله الحمد. الحمد لله الذي أعاد الأعياد وكرر. أحمده سبحانه خلق وسور. وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له شهادة يثقل به الميزان في المحشر. اللهم فصل وسلم على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وأصحابه الفائزين بالشر والشر الأخبر. أيها الفائزون, beloved brothers and sisters, on this great day of Id-ul-Fitr, we celebrate all of those who purposely live their lives in the cause of social justice and who lovingly spend their time and resources in helping the world to make the world a more just and humane place. On this day of Id-ul-Fitr, let us reflect seriously on how we can support the struggle for the eradication of violence against women and children in our homes, in our communities, and in our country. Let us use this prejudiced day this great day of Id-ul-Fitr as the dawning of a renewed appreciation for our role in stemming the tide of gender-based violence. Most of all, let us take forward the great levels of self-discipline and moral rejuvenation, tazkiyatul nafs, and solidarity, ukhuwah, sisterhood and brotherhood that we have fostered during the past month of Ramadan. And let us work towards sustaining and nourishing the virtues of egalitarianism, compassion, and social justice in the coming year. Beloved brothers and sisters, on this great day of Id-ul-Fitr, we spare thought for the people of Syria, Yemen, the Rohingya in Myanmar, the Central African Republic, Palestine, and everywhere where people are facing the ravages of war and political instability. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to grant them great amounts of sabr and to be with them at this great day of Id-ul-Fitr. Finally, Id-ul-Fitr is also a day on which we remember and we honor the memories of our family and friends who have passed on to the year after. Today they are no longer physically with us, but their memories live with us forever. Allahumma ighfir lahum warhamhum wasakkinhum fil jannah. O Allah, pardon our deceased, have mercy on their souls, and grant them the abode of paradise. On this blessed day of Id-ul-Fitr, please join me in making a special dua, a special prayer for an end to state capture and all other forms of corruption, and at every level of society and in our country. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. In the name of God, the most compassionate, the most merciful. Ya Rabbana wa Rabba kulla shay. Our Lord and sustainer of everything that exists. We are grateful that you have blessed our country, South Africa, with rich resources. Ya Rabb al-Rahmah, O Lord of mercy and compassion, we are deeply remorseful for the perverse use of your gifts and blessings through our acts of injustice and corruption. Ya Rabb al-Mustada'afeen, O Lord of the oppressed, we are mindful of the harm and the suffering this inflicts on many people in our country who are hungry, unemployed, defenseless, and who lack the basic necessities of life to live a life of dignity. Ya Rabb al-Shifa, O Lord of healing, help us to heal our own souls from greed and avarice, and to heal our nation from the scourge of corruption. Ya Razzaq, O provider of sustenance, grant us the will and capacity to use our country's resources for the well-being of all of its citizens. Ya Rabb al-Qist, O Lord of justice, help us to raise just leaders and caring citizens who will lead our country to the path of peace, prosperity, and loving kindness. Ya Rabb al-Nas wa Rabb al-Alameen, nas'aluka bi-asma'ika al-husna. O Lord of all of humankind and of all our cultures, we ask this in all of your holy and beautiful names. Allahumma ighfir lil muslimina wal muslimat wal mu'minina wal mu'minat al ahya'i minhum wal amwat innaka qareebun mujibud da'awat wa ya ghafir adh-dhunubi wal khati'at. Rabbana zalamna anfusana wa in lam taghfir lana wa tarhamna lanakunanna minal khasirin. ربنا آتنا في الدنيا حسنة وفي الآخرة حسنة وقنا عذاب النار وأدخلنا الجنة مع الأبرار يا عزيز يا غفار يا رب العالمين. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. إن الله يأمر بالعدل والإحسان وإيتاء ذي القربى وينهى عن الفحشاء والمنكر والبغي يعظكم لعلكم تذكرون. فاذكروا الله العظيم يذكركم واشكروه على نعمه يزدكم واسألوه من فضله يعطكم ولذكر الله أكبر والله يعلم ما تصنعون. الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر ولله الحمد. I wish you all Eid Sa'id wa Mubarak. May you have a happy and blessed Eid. كل عام وأنتم بخير مع السلامة والصحة. May your entire year be filled with goodness, with good health, and with prosperity, inshallah. Bye, Islam.